When I was a young man, my community access television was called SCAT. It stood for Somerville Community Access Television, but SCAT, the acronym, was also slang for shit porn. So my community access television station was also a name for shit porn. Hey, how's everybody doing? All right? I'm all right, Happy Saturday to you. It is Saturday, right? Yep, all day today. It is the year of our Lord, 2021, and today is September 18th. I'm off work today. I picked up a shift for tomorrow. I'm going to Queens, New York this week. I'm going to go to a pro wrestling event in Queens, New York. Pretty psyched about that. I've never been to Queens. I was in NYC a couple times as a young man, never, for too long, but and I've been in upstate New York and Buffalo for a friend's wedding, and so I've been to New York State a few times, but I've never been to Queens. I'm going to see a pro wrestling show. My favorite wrestler, one of my favorites as a kid, was Dusty Rhodes, and I'm going to go see his son wrestle, which is pretty awesome. So, I got my first episode last week. I think some of you listened to it, some of you didn't. If you want to, you can go do that, or fucking don't, to hell with it. I was told that I didn't have to make them 18 and up, since I might not be cursing in the first few minutes or whatever, and that's really what they're looking for. But I figured, I should probably, just keep it 18 and up. Mostly because I just, my nephew's 8, and I don't want his mother yelling at me that I'm using the bad words and he's going to repeat them. I don't want him to, I try to not pepper my language. But unfortunately, the one bad thing about me in dirty words is I'm good at saying them. I just got one of those fucking voices where the shitty, awful language just flows right out of my twat-like mouth. That's right. See, I'm sorry. I should apologize for all that stuff. But the thing is I think curse words I don't think they're made entirely for bad, right? They can't really be. They wouldn't make us laugh so much if they were just used for awful. Naturally, we're drawn to using bad words when something bad happens. You stub your toe, you scream, ah, fuck. My grandmother actually used to say, fiddle faddle. God rest her soul, my Nana. And a peg. She was awesome. So I think, last week I just sort of introduced you to who I am, and if you weren't listening, you need me to do that. My name is Thomas Elton Hardy. I go by Tommy or Tom, or if you want to call me Thomas, you can. Not many people do. Some do, some don't. My Latino family, they call me Tomas, and I love that. I think that's great. I think it's just Tomas. It has a nice, that's just that nice Latin roll to it. It's just, their names are always pretty. My niece has a very beautiful Latina name, Selena Maya. She's just, she's the cutest thing ever. And but their names are great. They just really are. All of them have those nice rings to it. One of my drivers the other day was Leandro. Just like saying those names, like Leandro, Guillermo, Fernando. Yep. You guys got good names, man. Not that Tommy or Thomas or Tom, not that that's a bad name. It's fine. But growing up in Boston, there's fucking a million of us. And I think that was kind of why I loved gravitating towards a nickname or something different, because it helped separate me from the pack. I remember, like, going out to punk rock shows as a young guy. There was a million Tommies. And, if you had, like, a nickname to go with it, it was great. And, mine was just the city I resided in, that I came from. And it was cool, too, because, I liked the place where I came from. I wasn't really... I wouldn't call myself a real popular kid in high school. I didn't really go. I loved skipping class. I liked freshman year so much I had 3 of them. And big shout out to some of the teachers that, like Mr. Iamello and Mr. Verlaine and what was my Mrs. Jones? Miss Jones, was it Mrs. Jones or Miss Jones, the English teacher? Mr. Olson, another English teacher who listen, you guys might have failed me, but at the same time, you failed me because I didn't show up. You tried to instill a little bit of confidence in me that I actually had some talent and, like, I was smart and, I could do these things. I think now with the way they know a kid has ADHD or any kind of, you call it a learning disability, you call it a social disease, you call it whatever the hell, call it depression or any kind of mental deal. I might have been better off today, or I might not have been. Who knows? Is what it is. But anyway, shout out to the cool teachers at Somerville High School between 1991 and 1995. Y'all were the real MVPs. The rest of y'all that weren't really cool to me, I guess I didn't really give you a reason to be cool to me, so I can't even fault you guys. I don't know so much that I'm like anti-public school or anti-school this or, I don't even know so much that I'm anti-Catholic school because I went to one of those for 7 years and I, didn't have bad experiences. I also wasn't as full-blown in my depression and just inability to sit still and pay attention for long periods of time in a group of people without just really wanting to just jump out a window and die. Woo! Oh, that one took a dark turn. Sorry, folks. Let me bring it back around to some happy place, I guess. Not really. We all have those fucking feelings. Just roll with it, right? Like, I feel bad about the people who don't have them, or not that I feel bad, but if you only have a good day every day, are you really having a good day? Or are you just having a fucking day? Think about it, It's like I think something I started saying as a young guy was like, when shit has to suck sometimes for stuff to ever be any good. So, yeah, man, just push through, keep plowing through. We got to, right? That's some Saturday positivity for your ass. Anyway, I was going somewhere before I mentioned school, and I lost it. I completely lost it. But, yeah. Yeah, and, so, yeah. And you're doing good, I hope? I hope so. I really do hope so. This is the dead air part. This is what, like, I guess a radio host kind of dreads. And I'm just going to, like, wing this. I don't really know how to do things otherwise. I'm not going to cut and splice and edit. I'm just going to rant for as many minutes as I can. I think I did, like, 24 last time. And, yeah, I think I'm just cracking about a little into 10 right now. And I should really stop picking things up and try to entertain you fucking people, right? It's what I'm here to do. Uncleboi isn't gonna just sit around with his, thumb up his pucky and, just whine about not being a good high school student because I sucked. I didn't do college. Actually, so this is kind of funny, especially if you know my dad or have any interactions with him. Some of you guys might even be his Facebook friend because he has like 5,000 of them or close to. He's got way more than me. I know that because first of all, you have to combine all 4 of his accounts because I think every time he gets a new device, he makes a new account. And he's had several new devices now by this point, all of which he's just given his email and phone number to a bunch of random ass websites that have just bombarded his phone. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But as it were, my dad, actually, I was taking a class at Bunker. My dad decides to take the same one. And we both wound up quitting it at the same time. So that was my college experience. Having my dad behind me screaming, how do I get this fucking thing to work? About the, we were in the learning center of the Bunker Hill, which is like, they give you a book. You know, mine was a math book because I figured I might as well knock my math stuff out first. And, you know, you just take the tests as you go. You complete the work in said book, and then they give you the test, and you know, it was essentially like not a sitting down classroom. It's basically you go in as many times a week as you can to pass said class, and if you finish it quickly, you finish it quickly. If you finish it slowly, you finish it slowly. But you're basically working at your own pace. And if you're a working person like I was, it kind of made sense. Now, I think I showed up maybe, 7 to 10 times before I was just way too mortified every time. Also, I think I was only like 19 or 20. So a lot of these people that I would see knew me in high school. And here's my dad, my dad's 34 years older than me. So he's standing behind me the whole time. And every time I said hello to somebody, he'd say hello to somebody. And I even ran into one of my teachers from Mr. Lundy, actually, from Somerville High, was one of the teachers at Bunker. And I ran into him in the hallway, and we just got talking because I think I had Mr. Lundy in homeroom, and Lundy was another one who, for whatever reason, he kind of liked me. I think he thought it was funny. I must have made him laugh with just my ridiculousness or awful excuses for being late, or who knows. I never intentionally was trying to be mean to teachers. Unless I was really trying to get a laugh out of people, or if like one of my cousins was around me, I would kind of get nasty because, I don't know, I just always felt like I needed to show off around them, or really just needed like their approval. That's, I don't know, there's probably some Freudian reason there, but I'm not gonna scratch too deep into it. Yeah, so I'm sitting there, I'm trying to like say, hey, Mr. Lundy, and there's my dad. Hi, how you doing? I'm Ed. I'm Tom's dad. Yeah, I take him to school, and also I'm in his class. Yeah. Yeah. So it was awesome. I'd meet somebody there. I'd like just randomly start talking. Oh yeah, hey, how you doing? Then, oh yeah, how you doing? I'm Tom's dad. Yep. So I never did go back to Bunker. Never did go back. Just that memory is still. I'm sitting here like semi bitching about it, but really, I don't know that I quit that class because there's the other thing too. Like there was a bunch of times I went and my dad wasn't there. Like there was a bunch of times I just took the T over. But you see, if I went with my dad, I got a ride. Because I don't drive. That's another thing. I'm about to turn 45 years old, and I've only operated a motor vehicle twice in my life. That's something that I'm not going to lie, actually is a little bit of a sort of Damocles holding over, swinging over my head. Winking a nudge to the Rocky Horror fans out there. Anyway, yeah, so that's always been something that's kind of bugged me. I guess not that I never did it, because in a weird way, I don't have any desire to drive, but I think it's just that I don't have the option, just because you don't feel quite as free. Yeah, and that kind of sucks, as it were. So my education ain't exactly a good one, and I've spent 22 years working in a place of higher education, a place of the highest education, a place where the elites either send their kids or become an elite. And some of them are actually really cool. Some of them are downright amazing, actually, people. I mean, yeah, sure, you're going to meet folks who, they're just going to be rude to you, but not that many. Quite a few of them will just ignore you, and that's totally fine. Ignore the hell out of me. I'm just there. But man, I met some really, really sweet kids this year especially. I always meet sweet kids because they're, here's the thing, like people between the ages of 19 and 22, they're still figuring out kind of who they are. Even though these ones are so brilliant and so smart, they're still growing. They're still growing into the person they are. They're still like, going through physical maturations and mental maturations that are going to change dramatically even in the next 10 to 20 years and so on. So, kids in that, as like age group, generally, if you can just talk to them in a, fun, friendly way, they respond. And doing what I do, having to be the guy that's going to fill a bunch of stuff, and if something's empty and we don't have a replacement for it, I got to think on my feet to keep this kid from not being upset. And trying to do that sometimes is a challenge. And listen, we're out of ice cream, pal. Sorry. I know it sucks, man. I didn't order it. And also, there's two kinds of people in the world. There's the kind of people that show up to the pizza party and they take 4 slices because they know it's going to run out. And then there's the kind of person who takes 1 slice because they know it's going to run out. Guess which one contributes to this thing. And no, I'm not fat shaming you motherfuckers, but man, just eat what you can handle. Nobody needs 7 ice cream cones. You know what? Maybe that is fat shaming and whatever. Maybe you do need your fucking 20 ice cream cones and 40 Diet Cokes and 108 pieces of popcorn chicken and 3 Blondie brownies and any other random thing here. And hey, maybe you do need that. Yeah. So yeah, I think I mentioned a little bit of what I do for work in my first one, but once again, if this is your maiden voyage of the Uncleboi Show, his name's fucking Tommy, this is the fucking Uncleboi Show. If you're if this is your first one, I work in dining services for an elite university in Cambridge, Massachusetts. One of the two, I'll let you guess. Yeah, and it's no dream gig, but it ain't too bad either. And I think I've learned a little bit about myself, human nature, and a lot of other things in the 22 years that I've spent there, either by accident or anything. I guess, I don't know. I don't exactly liken myself to Mr. Harvey Pekar, who, if you don't know who he is, he's a guy who basically he's a comic book writer who wrote about himself and had other artists draw him. And there was a movie called American Splendor, which is, what's the name of his comic? And I found out about him from reading Crumb after seeing the Crumb documentary. And Crumb was one of the artists who drew Harvey. And Harvey was a guy who, I don't know, I think he definitely had a little bit of a negative self-perception of himself as a flunky. He was a dude who, he had a simple job at a VA hospital as a file clerk. And while, being a very, pretty sharp-witted chap, certainly no dumb man, like me, not exactly much in the education department. Although I bet he was probably a little better educated than I. Certainly a well-read guy, like I try to be. I haven't been reading as much lately, so if you want to drop recommendations in the comments, please do. I used to be a huge comic book nerd, and I stopped being one in 2014 when I wanted to save up to buy a place, which I wound up buying in 2017, and I got my own little condo here in the North Shore, which is cool. But I haven't gotten back into comics because I'm not the kind of guy who can just like read one book a week. I kind of start devouring stuff, and so I was reading a lot of that. So that really kind of substituted like either reading novels or reading nonfiction or reading biographical artworks and things of that nature, which I was doing a lot of, especially about music. Certainly a little bit of politics. I think in my younger days I leaned pretty like left, but your typical, Massachusetts establishment Democrat. Then I started leaning right, like around the 2000 election. I think it was like I might have had like Clinton fatigue or something, and just didn't like them and didn't think that they were really. They didn't. I think they secretly hated the people that like put them where they were. They try to come off as the sort of champions of the little guy when they just despise the little guy. They're just the typical elite. So I hated them, and for whatever reason, I would assume that the conservatives were more my speed. And boy, was that not the case. And by '06, I think I was like kind of like a centrist, more left-leaning kind of guy, especially in terms of like, drug legalization, gay marriage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. By 2011, I think I started veering a little more left because I kind of got wrapped up, not so much wrapped up, but very intrigued with the whole Occupy movement and just the idea of a sort of anti-establishment, which certainly brought about 2016 in a lot of ways. I mean, I do have a theory that kind of anti-government sentiment that started bubbling up in 2011 and 2012 led to Trump, without a doubt. Also, I mean, the same sort of like feeling of the Clintons being Oz behind the curtain, like that certainly led to him. And honestly, but on the good part of it, at least good part of it for me, because I did not like Trump. The only good thing I can say about him was that he wasn't a politician. He was anti-establishment, or for the most part. I mean, at least, his campaign was. As far as when he became an elected official, I think he just banged on his keyboard, said a bunch of dumb shit. And anyway, it's kind of funny. I promised not to talk about politics, but it's something I don't know. It's not so much care about. It's just something that's always been on the peripheral for me, and I do care about certain things because I generally like. I mean, I guess I kind of am a class warrior. I think I am all about the working man, and certainly not in a Maoist way, or maybe like. Although I'm pro-union, I'm definitely more of the Western world idea. I don't, as much as I don't think greed is good, I'm not a total Gordon Gekko. I also understand the idea of, the idea of capitalism perhaps having a solid end game, or at least maybe that's just some hopeful bullshit. I'm not as well spoken or well read on this kind of a thing as, some rand disciple can come in and just poke holes in everything I just said, and call me, some like neo-Stalinist or something, which is horse shit. But I guess it's a little complicated sometimes, my views and thoughts on politics, I suppose. But anyway, like I said, the same sort of anti-establishment feeling not only led to Trump, but it led to Daddy Bernie. It led to my guy, my little Jedi man from Brooklyn who moved to Vermont and just has been saying the same thing. He's been saying the same thing since Led Zeppelin were still a band. I think they were still a band anyway. Like Coda came out in 1980, right? And they were still a band? Well, wait. Okay, no, wait. So I think, now did Coda come out after Bonham died? They weren't a band after Bonham died, so that was posthumously released, so 1980. So disco was still on the charts when Bernie was saying pretty much the same exact thing. You know, he was still little Michael Jackson at the time, right? Because he was still like young, he was still like a little boy, and he looked dramatically different, and he didn't, poor Michael, I guess. When he burnt his hair, he just went completely off the rails. Poor Michael. But yeah, he, as it were. I think, I've said a lot today. I don't know if all of it is things that you can take with you, you can groan at, agree with me on, disagree with me on. I don't really give a whole, I'm not going to lose much sleep over it. I certainly hope you don't. I'd like to give shout outs, I guess, where they're due. I'm just going to start shouting out people that I think are cool. Aaron Duckett, you, my friend, you are my hero, and you know why. I don't got to sit here and tell you why, but you're my dude, and I love you, and, you're my brother, man, and you make me real proud. I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Hardy, my cousin, The Rock, the man, the dude who, when I was a kid, I was a little shit to, because I don't know, I was just kind of jealous of his sort of easygoing way, and like I used to like just be a freaking asshole to him, and then like I realized, Michael like has my back more than anybody. Why am I being a dick to him? And it was really just mostly my own insecurities, and I think by the time I got to like 12 or 13 years old, I realized being such a huge dick to him was wrong and bad, and one of those things that keep me up at night sometimes is like how much of a dick I was to my cousin Michael. So love you, Michael. I'd like to go and I get a little bit of a dry cough this week, folks, and I think it might have something to do with the amazingness of the ganja that I have. Yes, it's absolutely wonderful stuff. I think it's like called like strawberry cough or something. Anyway, hence the strawberry cough. It sounds like it's really violent and it hurts me when I cough, but actually it's just sort of clearing my throat out and actually feels slightly good in a weird way. And I do everything loud. So that's why it might sound like painful. I remember my buddy Hale, who's another web person I want to give a shout out to. Even though my friend Hale, he can't hear this, he's not with us anymore. But Mr. Hale Hack was the guy who created the nickname Tommy Somerville back in 1999 or 2000. I think it was like going into 2000. It was like around New Year's or something like that. Like that winter. He said it, and it stuck, or we helped make it stick. And, anyway, he used to hear me cough, and he was like, man, that's so violent, dude. That's so violent. Like, I really hope you're okay, man. Oh, fucking hell. I miss you so much, dude. You have no idea. I've actually like, woken up from goofy dreams, and, like, you were in them, and for Christ's sakes, they felt so real that, like I woke up like saying, man, Freaking hell! I like it made me feel like I had just spoken to you, and I could like just speak to you. I was like ready to call you or something, and then realized that, yep, you're not with us anymore, man. And you are missed, brother. Some other big shout outs, man, to my buddy Joey Riot. You're awesome. You're the man. Love you. Thanks for reaching out the other day. My man Tony Landry, who I am going on my New York WrestleBoy excursion with. Yeah. Big shout outs to you. Big shout outs to I don't know. Big shout outs to the people who were the people who were out there trying to just like get by and like be nice and friendly to folks regardless of anything, and not let the ugliness of everything around us right now sort of take that away. I think this is a reason why I didn't really want to talk about politics, is because somebody who is in the same sort of boat as me, you know what I mean, a working person, regardless of how they feel about politics, there's really not much difference between us at all. And there's people who in that whole spectrum that I might like and whatnot, and there's people that you might like, and we might detest each other's peeps, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we're the ones living in these neighborhoods. We're the ones supporting the small businesses. We're the ones getting up and going to work every day and paying our taxes and contributing to society and and just like doing the damn thing. And, you know, even though national divorce sounds like a better idea every day, I guess, with all the ugliness, you know, it's gonna be the folks who are out there like totally trying to like want everybody to feel good and feel better and be healthier and just live well, live joyously. You know, it's gonna be I want to say us, but I really don't have that mastered either. I'm still kind of trying to find that happy medium because, man, I experienced many peaks and valleys, but you folks that are out there just pushing through and doing the damn thing and staying positive and up, you know what? You guys are the freaking best. Big shout out to y'all. Big shout out to Bill Burr for the just the influence of, you know, sounding like us and making it okay, and the idea that there's a space Boston now, or there's a Boston in Star Wars is awesome. Think about that for a second. Jesus. That's got to be some bar rooms, huh? Anyway, and I guess, I don't know, I don't really want to shout out too many other famous people, yeah, because whatever, they're not going to hear it. What the hell does it matter? You know, like, seriously. Fuck them. You know, shout out to Babe Ruth, right? Like, shout out to, hey, this one goes out to JFK. Yeah, what's up, kid? Yeah, this one goes out, yeah, exactly. Right? This one goes out to John Lennon. Way to be a Beatle, dude. Yeah, all right, cool. Let's rock on. Fuck off. Hey. Oh, another funny thing that happened this week, I guess. Well, I don't know how funny it is. It's actually pretty tragic, but so Ric Flair, I guess, is canceled because of something you could have Googled that happened 20 years ago that everybody, like, if you watch wrestling shoot interviews, knew about. He was basically, he pushed himself on a flight attendant lady who, you know, he was nude and twirling his guy around and just being an awful drunk Ric Flair. And my man Dustin Rhodes saved the woman. He got her, you know, he said, you know, get off her, dude, you know, or whatever he said over the, he was actually, apparently, according to the tale, he was singing to his wife over the PA speakers in the plane. And yeah, for somewhere in the middle of said song, he got Ric Flair off the lady. But, like, here's the thing about that. Like, as horrible as it is, and it's just definitely disgusting, and the woman's account of it, I think, is definitely why because like hearing her speak and just like how you like all like you could tell it's still messing her up to this day. Like it probably like she probably had to deal with being like working in like the private jet plane industry. You probably have to deal with some like shitty elitist people who are they're gonna treat you like trash, and you're you're nothing to them. Because remember, folks, the thing about the elites and the thing about like the the powers that be, if you will, you can hate them all you want. Hate them with every core of your being. Trust you me, they hate us more. They hate us way more. So much to the point that like our lives are totally fucking meaningless. Like if we saw one of them dying in the street, our initial instinct would be to help them. If they saw us dying on the street, they would step over us and hope that no garments touched us. None of their garments touched us. Like they despise us. Don't forget that. Anyway, yeah, but like the thing about that's funny, I feel about like him being canceled by these like companies that he was representing, like as like probably like doing ads. Like you would see him doing ads for whatever it was. Was it Cumberland Farms or 7-Eleven? It was like one of those chain stores he was doing ads for. So like the funny thing about him being canceled for those is that like, don't the people who work for these companies that hire their pitchmen, don't they have Google? Like you can Google somebody's history and find out pretty easy. Like the amount of things you can't get a job doing what I do for, like yeah, they don't hire you to wash dishes if you have like a lot of these prior. But like him being some made guy who everybody knows, like he gets away with it, and I'm as guilty as anybody of being a fan of like the character on TV, Ric Flair. But the person, I don't think I'm a fan of that guy. I think that guy's kind of terrible to treat people the way he did. And that's why I'm a Dusty Rhodes guy, folks. That's why I'm a Dusty guy. That's why I'm a Terry Funk guy. Okay? You don't get stories like that about Terry Funk. You have some stories about people trying to fight Terry Funk. You get some stories about like him having to like whip somebody's ass. But man, you don't get any stories about those two guys being assholes to people, because I don't think they're assholes. I think they're like the men. And yeah, maybe or maybe I've just got like some West Texas tinted goggles where I just think, the Funker and Dusty baby, the Malcolm Dream, if you will, baby, I just think are the best that ever did the whole fucking thing. And they're my favorites. Yeah. But anyway, I guess it's probably high time that I should wrap this up, and I hope everybody's doing well, man. I hope hope you guys have a great Sunday tomorrow. I'm going to be picking up overtime. I wish I was watching football, but I'm just going to make a little bit of extra money that I'm going to be able to spend in New York City with my boy Tony, Mr. Tony Landry. I hope we hit a Wawa on the way too. That'd be cool, because we don't got those in Boston. I think you tri-state guys all have a Wawa. And my brother in Florida. Big shout out to my brother in Florida too, Brian Edward Hardy, the man, my kid brother, another one of my heroes, a guy who does the best he can for his family, and every day is just out there grinding, doing the damn thing. Loves being a dad. I don't know. I could probably joke with him that he might love being a dad as much as I love being an uncle. Because here I am getting choked up just thinking about those kids. But I didn't know I could love anything as much as I love those two. I didn't know it was possible. And it actually, it actually, like, little things like that let me know that I don't suck, I guess. Little things like that. That's kind of why I think I get so emotional. But anyway, I'll wipe these away. See, it's a good thing this isn't video. I can sit here and, like, let them all roll down my face and ugly cry. like, little Lord Fauntleroy just skinned his freaking knee and he's crying on the ground, But no, all it takes is me thinking about my niece and nephew, and I am totally mush. But big shout out to everybody out there that's working hard, taking care of your people, and just enjoying yourself while you can, when you can. Okay, Uncleboi over.